Now I'm going to go take you through what I've written concerning the fact that as a leader in the church or as a pastor, that you can, with much certainty and with much encouragement from those that are in leadership with you, to speak on prophecy, that it encourages your flock to follow in league with the plan of God towards the kingdom purposes that He has for His return, and so that the church does not become a victim of the deception of the Antichrist system, or just Lucifer and everything that he has used throughout redemptive history to take control over the minds and the wills and the just the actions of those that slip into sins and into the cares of this world, as Jesus warned us. So I'm going to take us first into something I wrote called Prophecy Update of Pastors in Perusia. So I said, though I'm not a pastor, when I was a young barracks pastor in my tech training school in Huntsville, Alabama, I used to make appointments to be mentored by the post chaplain. Sometimes he would surprise me during post-wide unit runs by having me run the chaplain's guide-on flag, so he could use it as our opportunity to mentor, encourage, and instruct me on my end goal. He knew that my free time to prepare for barracks church was limited by not having lengthy visits to the post library. I couldn't do that all the time. It would be another 6 months before I'd be assigned a roommate with a good computer having internet access that I could use for research. Before and after the run, more so before the run because we would be physically exhausted afterwards, the post chaplain would instruct me on how I was doing as a barracks pastor and organizer for chapel barracks retreats. That was something that he had me do as his assistant. I was a like a volunteer, and I asked, what can I help you with? I just had that heart of service to help him with whatever time I had, and things just really went along to starting a barracks church. He would instruct me on which areas of discipleship, Bible teaching, and underground barracks preaching that I needed to improve on. Now, he would remind me I only had a year of training at Redstone Arsenal and not to stress out too. And so I started reminding my small underground barracks church of the Perusia, which is the return of Jesus Christ to claim His bride. It just strikes me as that we don't always remember that the return of Christ is a promise that we need to keep on our hearts and minds just all the time. And it's a great hope that gets us through and lifts us to complete all the things that He has put in our hearts to do. The Matthew 28 Great Commission to reach and save the lost with the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's not that only that He saved us from our sins and from death and hell and the grave. He's also going to return for us, and that we will see Him as He is, as 1 John says, because we'll be like Him. So, I loosely called us Warriors for Christ. It wasn't an official name or anything, but it's just something we went by. I reminded them of the return of the King as a hope to cling to when times are hardest. We are most homesick. And, one of the things that the finish line was our goal. From 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27. And I would share Isaiah 57, which is one of the great eschatological prophecy sections of the latter half of Isaiah. As those who know what is right, when we felt the most beat up by the U.S. Army and our drill instructors, our home was going to come to us with a king that will avenge us. We just had to remember that we are going to look and stay awake to the changing climate of the world as Jesus' harbinger. There's harbingers of the New Age movement that will bring in the Antichrist, and we are the harbingers of Jesus. We are Jesus on this earth before He comes in full reign of glory. I won't pretend that I had my eschatology all figured out. I was premillennial, and at that time I was pre-tribulation. I'm not anymore. But I always opened it up for discussion, and that's something that the chaplain told me to always just be firm in my teaching, and that's this part of opening up my encouragement to pastors to and Bible study leaders, that I want them to wake up feeling respected again as the good shepherd of their flock, and that includes being someone who corrects the flock in theology, protects the flock from deception, and connects with the flock through Bible study leadership. That's it for now. We'll move on to the next study.